Okay, let's talk more about HAARP and the Haiti earthquake. Number one, Hugo Chavez, did he or did he not say that HAARP was involved? Because I've been getting a lot of messages about this. Okay, this video is on my blog, thetruthergirls.wordpress.com. The Russia Today clip where they said that Chavez said that a tectonic weapon was involved. In fact, he did not actually say that HAARP was involved, just that tectonic weapon was involved. But what other tectonic weapons do we suspect than HAARP? They also said that the use of this weapon has never been proved, but it's a popular idea with conspiracy theorists. Yes, in fact, HAARP can be used to cause earthquakes. It can be used as a tectonic weapon. Hasn't ever been proved that it's been used that way. But if they used it, do you think they would tell you? But it does have the capacity to do that. I also put this video on my blog. It's very good in terms of outlining what HAARP is and how it can be used and how it may have already been used. Okay, here are a couple of quotes from that video. From Rich Garcia, Director of Public Relations for HAARP. He says, applications discussed in the patents include, among other things, communications control and disruption, as in they can disrupt communications, and ideas involving weather modification. Okay, also Brooks Agnew, earth tomographer, in the same video says that he has found oil wells with 30 watts of power. Okay, he goes on to explain how you can compare it to the strings in a piano, and by sending radio waves down into the earth, it produces certain vibrations, and with very low amounts of power you can detect things like oil and gas. We might get a sound like ping, and we'd say that's natural gas, or another one and they'd say that's oil. He says that they could detect oil and gas with 30 watts. He says if you do this with 1 billion watts, which is what HAARP uses, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations would be so severe underground that it would cause an earthquake. Do you think Brooks Agnew is a conspiracy theorist? He's an earth tomographer. So what did Chavez actually say and what's going on here? You know, when people send me this info, they referred me to Wikipedia. So let's go check out Wikipedia and see what they have to say about it. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez was widely reported to have blamed HAARP as the cause of the 2010 earthquake. Do you think Wikipedia is the be-all and end-all of information? Me, not so much. Let's go and see what abc.es has to say about this. Here's the article. Lucky for me, I can read Spanish and I can probably order a taco too, so I can translate this for you. Chavez accuses the EEUU of provoking the earthquake in Haiti. Okay, it starts off like this. The anti-American government of Venezuela, in their habitual paranoia against the imperial Yankee, asserts that the quake in Haiti was the, quote, clear result of a test by the U.S. Marina, I suppose is the Navy, and underlines that an experimental earthquake of EEUU has devastated the Caribbean country of Haiti. A press publication of the Cadena Estatal de Televisión Vive refers to a report prepared by La Flota Rusa del Norte, so the Russian Northern Fleet, which indicates that the quake was the clear result of a test by the American Navy by means of a tectonic weapon. It goes on to say that the Flota del Norte, continues the text, has been monitoring the movements and naval activities of the U.S. in Caribbean since 2008. Okay, they also say that the U.S. Navy experiments also involve the California quake. Okay, and they add that, according to the cited Russian text, cited by the Venezuelans, it is most likely that Washington had complete knowledge of the catastrophic damage that this earthquake weapon test could potentially cause to Haiti, and had positioned their commander of the Southcom, the General P.K. Keane, in the island to supervise humanitarian aid work that would be necessary. Okay, this reference to Southcom and what they were doing is confirmed here on globalresearch.ca in an article by Michael Chostadovsky. It says, after the earthquake hit Tuesday, DeMay said Southcom decided to go live with the system. See, they were testing a new system. Southcom was in position in the Caribbean, and they were testing a new system called DISA. And one day prior to the earthquake, on Monday, January 11th, Jean Demey, DISA's technical manager for the agency's Transnational Information Sharing Cooperative Project, happened to be at the headquarters of U.S. Southern Command in Miami, preparing for a test of the system in a scenario that involved providing relief to Haiti in the wake of a hurricane. Wow, well, I have to say, does that remind you of anything? Because it reminds me of something. It reminds me of how they were running those drills in the London Underground just when the supposed terrorism attack hit. Damn coincidence, wouldn't you say? Okay, let's go back to abc.es. It says, finally, the government of Chavez has denounced that the Department of State, U.S. aid, and the Southern Command of United States began a humanitarian invasion by sending at least 10,000 soldiers and mercenaries to control, instead of the UN, the Haitian territory through the devastating experimental earthquake. This is what does it mean? And they're also going into the whole issue of tectonic weapons having been involved. Chavez said these weapon earthquakes would eventually be used against Iran and be taken over by the U.S. military. Chavez says the weapons can alter the climate and set off earthquakes and volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. And okay, this article here, World Trembles as U.S. Prepares New Quake Test, was by Sorcha Fall. People have said to me before she's a disinfo agent, but actually the things that they're saying here are supported by sources, so, I mean, largely. So, for example, here, okay, though not known to the vast majority of Americans, the development and use of earthquake weapons have long been known, as evidenced by a U.S. Department of Defense press briefing on April 28, 1997, and there's a link there, when the Defense Secretary William Cohen, in talking about the dangers future wars would bring, surprised reporters by mentioning them, as we can read. And it says here, quote, Alvin Toeffler has written about this in terms of some scientists in their laboratories trying to devise certain types of pathogens that would be ethnic specific so that they could just eliminate certain ethnic groups and races, and others are designing some sort of engineering, some sort of insects that can destroy specific crops. Others are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism, whereby they can alter the climate. Remember what Rich Garcia said about HAARP? Set off earthquakes. Remember what Brooks Agnew said? Volcanoes, remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Do you think William Cohen is a conspiracy theorist? So actually, I don't see anything refuting the claims that that Chavez said that the earthquake was caused by a tectonic weapon, only that they tried to make him look bad by basically just name calling, which is a really, low blow technique that, you use for disinfo. It doesn't really mean much to me. So far, the information is backed up, and it looks pretty solid.